Thank you for joining us here today. Thank you to those who came to Almaty, and also thank to online audience. We will have the conversation about enterprise trends in cloud, and we have Nargiz Suleimenova, Senior Manager on the Tax and Legal Services Department of Ernst & Young, Kazakhstan. I'm so sorry. We also have Rostislav Konyashkin, Chairman of the Board of National Information Technologies. Burry, UC Berkeley Global Ambassador, co-CEO of US Market Access. And Pavel Koktyshev, co-founder and manager partner of Most Holding, as well as StrategEast, country manager, CIS, CE of Microsoft. Thank you to all of you. I would propose to start with the brief introductions. Could you please tell more about yourself, about the organizations you present here today, what role do you play, and how it is connected to the cloud development? Shall we start with you?
Yes.
Please.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Sytnychenko. I'm a country manager of Microsoft in CIS countries, which include Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, countries of Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and Pakistan. And I live in Kazakhstan. I'm based in Almaty. I live in Kazakhstan for the last 8 years with my family, and I spent in Kazakhstan quarantine, January events, so I'm quite close to Kazakhstan, and what I'm doing in Kazakhstan, I'm bringing closer Kazakhstan customers and Kazakhstan community closer to Microsoft technologies. Microsoft is already more than 20 years in Kazakhstan. We working with all segments and all industries in Kazakhstan. During quarantine, we were happy to provide participate in hybrid work and hybrid learning introduction. Almost half of a million people were using Teams monthly, and my kids, including my kids, were using Teams to learn during quarantine, and all of us used hybrid technology. So we are moving together with Kazakhstan along the road of digital transformation, and I will be happy to contribute more to success of Kazakhstan as a digital transformation nation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Chris?
Thank you, and thank you to StrategEast and all the sponsors for putting this together, this fantastic event. Quick introduction, Chris Burry. I'm here wearing a number of hats. I am part of the entrepreneurship team at UC Berkeley with the Siddhartha Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. I've been associated with them for more than 10 years now. Recently, they gave me a fancy title. They now call me a global ambassador, which somehow now means I do things for free. I am also the CEO of the US Market Access Center. For the last 12 years, we have worked with startup founders from 75 countries to help them build great companies. Many of them are running on the cloud on a variety of different platforms. And in a past life, when I was an entrepreneur, had many different companies, but most of my technical career was actually on sort of data center and infrastructure. So the question of cloud computing is sort of near and dear to my heart.
Thank you, Chris. Pavel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pavel. I'm a co-founder and managing partner at Most Holding. It's an innovation support ecosystem, private innovation support ecosystem here in Central Eurasia. We headquartered at Almaty, but we're serving the whole Central Eurasia community. So we includes the ecosystem includes the first kind of classical venture fund We invested 18 companies so far, and together with our co-investors and sisters Angel Club, we invested more than 5 million so far in high growth potential companies. So I used to work in government sector as well, so I was the initial kind of launch team for Astana Hub, so I'm familiar with the government and public policy landscape, specifically in Kazakhstan. And yes, so we here to support prospective entrepreneurs.
Awesome, thank you so much. Nargiz, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to organizers for invitation to this event. My name is Nargiz Suleimenova. I'm a senior associate within EY Kazakhstan Legal Practice. And I would like to mention that EY actively participates in various working groups, including Foreign Investors Council, AmCham, Eurobac, in relation to cloud services, in relation to introducing the amendments to the legislation of Kazakhstan with respect to cloud services. And today I will present these topics as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Rostislav.
Hi everyone, my name is Rostislav Konyashkin. I'm CEO of NITEC, National Information Technologies Company. We are an operator of e-government in Kazakhstan. We providing services, we're providing cloud services, we provide public services for citizens, for business, and a lot of other projects. Some of them we will discuss, I think, today in my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please applause to our panel speakers. And I would like to start with the presentation from EY Kazakhstan. Nargiz has already mentioned it. Please share it with us.
So thank you very much again. I will start with my presentation. As you may know, international practice and including Kazakhstan demonstrates active development of IT technologies and digitalization. Nowadays, digitalization affects all spheres of activity of states and companies. So we are increasingly talking about four digital technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and Internet of Things, big data. As a general rule, all these things are integrated with clouds. The effectiveness of clouds we all see during the pandemic. For example, in healthcare industry, when medical care was provided remotely, in educational, when the classes was conducted remotely to school children and students. On all other sectors of economy, for example, financial, trade, logistics, also switched to clouds. So the international experience shows that not only private sector, but also public sector switched to clouds. As it was mentioned by our presidents this year on 1st September, the main goal today for the country is transformation of Kazakhstan into IT country. For this, we are required to complete certain tasks, for example, development of artificial intelligence, to digitalize all government process and increase export of IT services by 2026 to $1 billion. And also to increase the number of professional specialists. All these things could be achieved by using the cloud services in Kazakhstan. Next slide is about research that has been issued by EY together with NASCOM in 2022 that shows that by 2025 almost 1 gigabyte of data will be reside in the cloud. On next slide, we would like to show you the key considerations that should be taken into account by government and by companies upon using the clouds in generally. For example, data localization requirements, the regulation with respect to data privacy, the possibility to cross-border transfer, and issues with cybersecurity. The international practice shows that most countries have already developed and adopted the cloud-first policy. For example, UK, US, Singapore, Qatar, which we use in our working groups as an example. In these countries, companies and governments firstly should use the technologies based on clouds, and only in cases where it is not possible, they should choose other options. In Kazakhstan, most companies are today reluctant to use the cloud services due to certain limitations, blockers under the existing regulations. First of all, it relates to the requirements under the personal data regulations. In particular, Article 12 requiring data localization in Kazakhstan. And the second reason is uncertainty with respect to classification of data in Kazakhstan. For example, it is still not clear whether geological information should be considered as state secrets. So in this regard, our team, EY, together with Microsoft and other members of working groups, developed certain recommendations to the legislation of Kazakhstan. Firstly, it relates to personal data, allowing to process and localize personal data not only in Kazakhstan, but also in clouds, provided that such clouds or data centers are duly certified. The same approach we propose in relation to other data processed by financial, telecom, and other sectors of economy. The third recommendation from our side, it is to encourage Kazakhstan to conclude as more as possible agreements with other countries. For example, Singapore have entered almost into 5 agreements with other countries, UK, New Zealand, and Korea, for provision possibility to this country to process and storing the data not only in their countries, but also in counterparty of these agreements. And lastly, we recommend to adopt data classification policy and cloud-first policy. We think that it will help to achieve the goals proposed by our president and improve digitalization of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nargiz. Very interesting presentation. And you've talked a lot about the legal issues and some regulatory requirements and provided great recommendation on what should be done. Sergey, I have a question to you. What for? So what are the advantages of cloud implementation on the enterprise level? What advantages would the enterprises get using cloud technologies?
Thank you. I will provide a few examples from recent McKinsey research about benefit of public cloud for Poland. According to this research, adoption of public cloud will bring extra 4% of GDP in 10 years for Poland. If we will calculate same data for Kazakhstan, for example, it will be benefit of extra 4% of GDP or $13 billion in 2033. So it's extra more than $10 billion for the country annually due to use of public cloud by country as a whole. Public cloud can be used in all directions, all streams of digital transformation of the country, starting from digitalization of government processes and digital economy, modernization of traditional economy, skilling and education. All that can be accelerated via public cloud. In terms of effect for business, according to the same research, 85% of effect of cloud is coming from innovation, and only 15% is coming from cost optimization, which public cloud gives. Generally, public cloud, we can compare it with internet, where hundreds of thousands of applications and millions of developers around the world may develop solutions for your business, or you can integrate with them. And the last point, all of us can see that the most beautiful, the most sophisticated innovations like artificial intelligence, latest OpenAI technology was developed only due to the scale of public cloud. The most advanced technologies, they need planetary scale of computation power, and it's possible only with public cloud, and public cloud becoming a platform for global business development and global development of innovations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Talking about government, Pavel, I would like to hear your thoughts about what do you think governments should do more. What do you see is being done in Kazakhstan to enlarge the presence of cloud and actually like to support enterprises using the cloud solutions?
So I have a kind of different opinion on that matter. So it's pretty clear why we discussed this topic and the setup of panel today. So representative tech giants here, like Amazon Web Services, the sponsor for that event. So it's pretty clear that it's part of the business agenda. And I'm okay with the concept of cloud first because it's inevitable. So we definitely need to move forward. We definitely need to consider the ease of doing that business and not kind of put on kind of risk the large corporations who still using the cloud services and sharing and maybe hosting some personal data of our citizens abroad at their premises. And another thing that's our state bodies in charge of like data protection, they're not able to track every single kind of transaction, every single kind of thing. And it means if we are not, controlling the risk fully, why should we just make the pose that, okay, we really have to do it? But I think there is another part of this equation as well. So I just, as a venture investor at the moment, so I'm just tracking some development of different AI startups, for example, or research groups. And one of the brilliant groups we have at Nazarbayev University, for example, they're piloting their language model, and they're piloting some projects on some cloud services. But at the same time, the cost of that services comparing to the hardware on premise is way more different. So for them, And for their activities, it's important to have this ecosystem of hardware for specifically AI purposes here on site, I mean in Kazakhstan. So cloud will not cover the all kind of agenda. And of course it might be the interest for the large corporation who using these kind of standardized kind of services based on these global cloud providers. That's totally okay. I mean, but at the same time, we need to admit that Kazakhstan has its own the nation, I mean, strategic interest. The problem is that we are not kind of loud enough, or maybe we are not as a country articulating enough what we want in exchange of access to this, the full access for the data, cloud services here in Kazakhstan. I think the group that you are leading has the major kind of wall, not on logical side, but on emotional side. So to be totally okay with a large corporation to be presented, fully presented in our domestic market, we need something in exchange, right? We need some special, like, it's bargain, right? It's exchange. And if we see these kind of examples when our deep tech kind of groups of young, kind of, not necessarily young, but like scientists, data scientists, trying to pilot their projects, and they face the burdens of such global cloud providers. So I think we need to have this kind of bargaining power in terms of communicate the fees, communicate the pricing model, and other stuff. There is a good example with the startups programs that every single cloud provider has. So it works well. So I think we should have something very specific with Kazakhstan in order to move forward. Because I'm following this discussion about access of, cloud first concept since my kind of first year of government experience back in 2018. And not much things changed so far. So we need to do some bold moves from both sides. And my message to some global corporations here, just to do something extraordinary for Kazakhstan, because I think мы заслужили этого.
Yeah, so we deserve it, right?
We deserve it.
Okay, thank you so much. I would also like to touch base on GovTech, and I believe, Rostislav, you have something to share with us on this.
So it's a very short view what we are doing right now on the Gov Cloud in Kazakhstan. I hope it will be interesting for you and also for our partners. Okay, Kazakhstan right now in GovTech ratings, we are 8th in online services index of UN, and we are 6th in the World Bank rating GovTech maturity index in public service delivery. Right now, more than 90% of all services are available online. More than 80% of them are in smartphone. Also, we have great products in data analysis that we are using to provide proactive public services. So right now, at the next step, what we are doing is our GovTech cloud platform. We're developing it this year. The key benefits of this platform is flexibility, standardized working processes, and we hope that we will decrease our costs on the developing products and developing these systems not only for government but also business will use these components. Right now it is 7 components, of course: cloud platform, development platform, monitoring platform, identity, security, integration, and UI components. The key component right now for us is cloud platform. We are building it on OpenStack. Right now we are using VMware for all governmental agencies, but we are building right now the new way on OpenStack, and we are trying to develop multi-cloud in the Gov sector. Right now we are in partnership with AWS. We are looking how to use the Outpost product, and also we are trying to build the multi-cloud in private side, but we also want to use public clouds like AWS, like Azure, like Google Cloud and others. So it's a way we are trying to do. Also, we're mostly using the open source components in our platform. It's not so interesting. And right now we are we are trying to share these knowledges, we are trying to share these products through the GovStack initiative leading by the UN, ITU, and World Bank, to share our products also for free with our partners in region and not only in our Central Asia region. So this is what we are doing. Hope it was interesting for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Knowledge sharing is one of the main topic of the current situation, yeah? And it's very important also for startups. We talked a lot about the governments. We also discussed the, yeah, Chris, you feel it. You feel it is coming. So we talked about the enterprise, and just to make the picture full, I also want to touch base with the startups. You work closely with startups on your daily basis. What do you see is the influence of cloud, or what is the role of cloud for a startup and generally for the startup ecosystem?
Yeah, cloud is clearly one of the fundamental enabling technologies for many startups today. I am going to date myself in that I have to sort of laugh because everybody says, you know, oh, cloud computing is this new cool thing, right? No, it's not. It's been around since the 1960s. It's just had different names. The very first version of quote-unquote cloud computing was on mainframe computers doing something that was fancy named called time sharing, right? Multiple workloads being shared on the same computers that could be dynamically configured. And yes, even in the 1960s, they were running, surprise, virtual machines on IBM mainframes. Then you fast forward to the late 90s, and during the dot-com boom, we had this lovely thing called application service providers, ASPs, which, guess what? Was applications hosted and served remotely. Sounds familiar, right? And then, you know, we have the quote-unquote, now we're going to call it cloud computing, right? But the reality is this idea of being able to have shared resource pools has been and continues to be one of the key enablers of startups, right? Is that you have these companies, and one of the things that startups lack all the time is capital, right? There's very few startups that say to themselves, wow, I really have enough capital. And the value of cloud computing in all of its forms over the last, 50 years has been around giving startups the ability to have really high capital efficiency, that I just have to pay for the resources that I'm consuming instead of having to go buy 50 servers and build a data center and pay for racks. And I made a ton of money in my career being one of the guys who like designed these huge server farms for corporations, right? Made a bunch of money doing that. And now it's just, you know, you can go to Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google, Oracle, Rackspace, right? And you can just say, well, I want a server instance, and you don't have to know anything about the underlying infrastructure. So it allows a degree of capital, you know, a degree of capital efficiency that is critically important to startups. But the second thing is it allows a degree of speed of execution that you don't have without these types of services. That, you know, if I have a new startup and I want to be able to have the compute power to be able to deliver it, I can go to one of the cloud providers and, you know, in 15 minutes, I can have like all the resources I need. It's all up, it's all running, and I can just get on with life. As opposed to when people were doing this where it's like I have my server sitting under the desk or in my garage or whatever. It was like, I don't know, order the server, wait 6 weeks, you know, have to find somebody who knows how to put it together, have to find somebody who knows how to configure it, and then have all these people that knew what to do with it to maintain it. And so where for the startup community, this is really, you know, really important is around capital efficiency. And as more and more resources become available in the cloud that are related to AI, it's going to further enable sort of this speed of execution, you know, that I don't have to figure out how do I get, you know, 5 cards from NVIDIA. You know, the guys at Microsoft or somebody's going to figure that out for me. I just have to say, these are the resources that I need to be able to, execute. And so, you know, I think if you think about cloud more broadly speaking as sort of shared pre-configured resources, I'm less concerned about, am I running on AWS or Azure or whatever. What I think is important to the startups is how does it drive capital efficiency, how does it drive speed, and how does it lower the skill level that I need on my team in order to be able to execute.
Awesome, thank you so much. And I would like to wrap this session up with a question to all of you. Given very diverse background, I would really love to hear what trends you anticipate to have, like to be implemented in the cloud computing space in the upcoming years. Please, go ahead. Okay, Chris. Chris, please go ahead.
You know, I think you're going to continue to see more and more things related to AI. I think you're going to see more and more things related to security. I think the one that I look forward to and also terrifies me at the same time is as quantum computing becomes real. That's going to be sort of the next level game changer, just in terms of it'll be enormous step function in terms of speed of processing. But in the shorter term, it's more powerful hardware available to run these large language models in the AI universe.
Thank you so much. Then I believe we will go this way, right? Pavel?
So the volume of using definitely goes skyrocketing just up to the skies. So I'm sure the kind of accessibility and all that. I'm still thinking of like early stage kind of startups and all these early adopters to all these new technologies. So of course, this breakthrough in AI requires more and more. And but then, with regards to applications that we following now among all these talented teams across the region, so they need access, they need some special cases, and of course I think the kind of adoption of all these services from the needs of and the economic reality of every single region gives us the way forward.
Thank you. I'm totally agree with Chris that it is time for artificial intelligence and cybersecurity questions. But as maybe lawyer in Kazakhstan, I would like to mention that the existing legislation in relation to personal data absolutely not in line with development of all these IT issues, including artificial intelligence. And I hope we will maybe sometime introduce all required norms into our legislation to address this as speedily as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Nargiz. Rostislav?
I don't know what to add, what to say, what if not about AI, because right now I think AI is a key target in developing, and if we want to be an AI developing country, if we want to use not only to use the global AI components and global AI models, if we want to create also sovereign AI services, sovereign AI instruments, I think it's the key target. And also I think it's more about sharing, not only about storage service, it's more about sharing instruments, sharing knowledges, sharing also data, because right now we as a company, we as a governmental company, we are sharing a lot of instruments, a lot of services by APIs with business, other companies, and I think it's the way that we could reach our goals. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sergey?
Yes, thank you. I think I would tell about 3 trends I'm thinking about. First of all, absolutely AI will become part of our life, will augment our intelligence. Point number 2, more sophisticated partnerships. Like, for example, Astana Hub is becoming a regional hub for startups, not only for Kazakhstan, or Kazakhstan government start working with G42 from United Arab Emirates. So all these more sophisticated partnerships, including diversification of connectivity, which are also very important for Kazakhstan. And last point, that traditional economy, which is crucial for Kazakhstan, like oil and gas, mining, energy, will be dramatically transformed with digital technologies and with including AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you to the audience. Thank you, of course, to our speakers. Thank you. Have a great evening.